following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. My name is Leo Connors and I'm your host. And tonight, I got a very special guest, pro wrestling manager, Kenny B. Dunn.
Leo, great to be here. Great to be here on The Ring and All Other Sports. I've watched your show many a time. Helps me fall asleep. No, it's really good. No, really good
Probably
stuff.
helps other people
Really
fall
good
asleep.
stuff. Good stuff.
Great. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate that.
Yep.
We got a lot to talk about. I was really looking forward to you because I'm not very familiar. You know, and I love those guests.
Yes.
I love all my guests, but the ones that I don't really know their story, it's just awesome because it's brand new to me. We're going to get right into it. Ken, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Wow.
Home of the Patriots. So
Yes.
way to go. 10-1, baby.
Yep. All right. When did you first see pro wrestling?
I saw pro wrestling. I was 14 years old, and my father took me to the Garden. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't 14, but it was a little bit, and it was my first live show. I'd watched on TV.
Right.
And I was hooked with Roddy Piper's Pit.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. And I was
Right.
drawn in. So we went to a live show, but the main event was Hulk Hogan against Macho Man Randy Savage.
Wow.
And it was like, the Intercontinental title against the
Yeah.
heavyweight champ. So, and I heard the Pomp and Circumstance playing and then Real American.
Right.
And the fans and the lights were going and I was like, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm in. So ever since then.
Just so you know, like you're probably the oldest person like at age where they first. Most people are like me 7. Some are like they don't even remember how old because they were so small. They don't, but they know they've been watching it.
Yeah.
You know. All right. Were your friends and family into it?
My family definitely not.
Mine either.
My father was interested in it,
Yeah.
and but he saw it as more interesting. My mother and my sisters thought it was stupid, and I was like, and my argument was, hey, it's a soap opera with fisticuffs and acrobatics.
Yeah,
so,
everybody used to say it's a soap opera for men.
For men.
Even though, women love wrestling too.
Exactly.
But it's funny you said my dad was not a fan.
Yep.
But he did, he let me be a fan. You know what I mean? And never put wrestling now on my mother, on the other hand. Sorry, Mom, putting you on blast. But
no dinner for him on Thursday.
Right.
Huh?
But no, she just couldn't stand it, you know, and constantly telling me to, if I tried to watch it in the living room and she wanted to watch something, I had to shut it off and give her the TV.
Yep.
When did you go to your first show? You just said, how old were you again? Around 14 or a little younger?
14 or 15.
Yeah.
And it was at the old Boston Garden.
Right.
Where you had to have good price tickets to get seats where you could actually see anything.
Right.
So, especially a wrestling ring, you'd be lucky if you went to a Bruins game, you saw half the ice.
Right.
So,
back then they had the poles in the
poles
way, too.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
And some of the best fights you saw were in the stands.
Oh, absolutely. I think sometimes that still happens.
It still happens.
All right. Did you train to be a wrestler at all?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. Good, I'm glad.
We can roll right into that if you want.
How did you get involved? Who trained you?
Okay. One day I said, there's got to be a way I can do this.
Yeah.
And I had heard stories about Killer Kowalski had a school, and these guys and this guy had another school. So one day I'm reading the Sunday Boston Herald, and on the back page on the Sunday Boston Herald, they had a pro wrestling article. It was like a square about this big.
Right.
And
was it like Killer's Corner?
It was something like that, but it wasn't even his name. It was just like a staff writer for the Herald.
Oh, okay.
And at the bottom of the article on the right-hand side, it said there is an organization called UCW in Nashua, New Hampshire, looking to hire wrestlers, managers, referees.
That would be John McAdams.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they left the phone number on there, and I actually got back in touch with John a few months, probably about a year ago. And I said, "Is this John McAdams who owned UCW up in Nashua?" He's like, "Yeah, it is, and I do remember you." So
nice. That's
when
cool.
I called him, now picture this: I weigh 232 now. I'm 6'5", 232. Back then, I was about 6'4", maybe about 145 pounds.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah. So cooking does well. Thanks, Mom. So we So I called the number, and John answered the phone, and he's like, "UCW, how can I help you?" And I said, "Hi, I saw your ad in the Boston Herald. I said I'd like to be a referee."
Right.
And he goes, "Okay, well, how long have you been in the business?" And I said, "I'm not." I said, "I'm actually looking to, if I can't work with the organization, maybe get trained." And he said, "Oh, we only work with people who have been in the business for a while." I said, "Okay, understandable." I said, "Well, who do you go to?" He goes, "Well, have you thought about Kowalski's?" And then he's like, he asked me my height and my weight, and I said, "I'm 6'5", 6'4", 145 pounds." He goes, well, he charges about $1,500 or whatever amount it was at the time, and he goes, he doesn't guarantee that you'll work.
Right.
He goes, "Now I know of a gentleman, Joe Eugenio, down in New Bedford."
Nice.
And so I said, "Okay." He goes, "I think he charges like $100 a month to train." And so I called
more affordable. That's for sure.
Definitely, and a little bit easier for me to get to being in Foxborough. So it was only like about 45 minutes away.
Yep.
And $100 is a lot better than.
Oh yeah.
So I went with a friend of mine, Barbara Mahoney,
okay,
who is a longtime referee in the wrestling industry in this area. And so we went down, and they got us together, and we started training, and I'd go to trainings, and Gino Caruso, I think he was with IWCCW down in New Jersey for a while, and he came up and he trained us like 2 or 3 times a week.
Nice.
And we'd do different drills, and he'd have us doing forward rolls, and until you basically threw up, and then then it'd be Chop City for the rest of the night. So so they saw me, and everybody was saying, "Wow, we should get him together with Pete." And it was a gentleman by the name of Peter Laporte.
Okay. I've heard that name.
And he was known as the Black Dragon.
Okay.
So they got us together. They got me a red ninja outfit with a red mask, and we looked like a pair of Twizzlers walking around the ring. So it was good, but we were good workers for the guys that could work with anybody.
Right.
So, and I was still green. Pete was, according to some, pretty stiff in the ring. Yeah. And but being skinny guys, you have to emphasize everything.
Absolutely.
Just to make it work.
Yep.
And we had some of the best times working together. I think I wound up injured more times by him than most of our opponents. And that's when we started getting our thing together, and we worked as a tag team, forever.
Nice. Now, I'm wondering if it says, I guess I've been told that there's 2 Gino Carusos, because I do some catering sometimes, and I actually catered a WSU show at this place in Jersey, and it was called the East Coast Pro Wrestling, and Gino Caruso was the guy. We'll pull up a picture later after we're done the show, and we'll see if it's the same guy.
Because I think Gino was also a state trooper at one time.
Okay, but he's trained a lot. The one I'm talking about, I know for a fact, has trained a real lot of guys.
Yeah.
All right, who else was in your class? Was there anybody else?
Oh, geez.
That's,
we
has a name that people
Brickhouse
would know.
Baker.
Nice.
Brickhouse Baker was one of ours. Sky King.
Yep.
Scott King, who was on here, I guess, a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And I actually saw him at the last show. And
great guy.
We had a great visit in the back.
That's right. A bunch of guys went to that show. Because in Doc's wrestling.
Doc Harris.
Oh, we're going to bring him up, and I'd love to talk about all that in a little bit.
Sure.
All right. So how about just tell us about your debut? The first time you came out.
The first time I came out, somebody didn't show up.
Yep.
And I was there, just learning the ropes. And I had been there probably about a month and a half.
Okay.
And they said, "Oh, we need somebody for this match, but everybody else is booked." And they said, "Well, all I had was a pair of boots."
Yeah.
Literally a pair of boots. So basically, when they have you, all you have is a pair of boots, they'll find some other stuff for you to wear.
Right, of course, yeah.
So my first match, and there's actually a picture of it on Facebook that Brickhouse has. My first match was against Brickhouse Baker.
Oh, wow.
And if you look on my Facebook page, it's there.
I'll go looking for it today.
And they gave me a pair of Skittle green briefs. Now, at 6'4", 145 pounds, there's not much hiding in the Skittle green briefs.
Right.
And I think I wore a T-shirt. And so basically went out there. I think we did like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe that. And he hit me, and you'll see in the picture, he hit me with the flying headbutt from the corner to the other corner.
Right.
It looked like Chris Benoit was flying around on the ground. Can we say that name on the air? I don't know
that's what Brickhouse is really good too.
He is. Uh, the man's been. He knows the ins and outs of pro wrestling.
No doubt.
Every time I come up with an idea and I'm like, come on, Brick, how about we do this? And he goes, no. Oh, okay. Well, why not? He goes, because I'm the boss. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you are. So, okay.
Right.
It's your show. We'll do what you want.
No, he's great because, like, I've only seen him wrestle and stuff. You know what I mean? And then when I finally met him, man, he treated me like, he'd known me forever.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a great guy.
He just does that with it. If you're involved and you have a passion for it, he loves that.
Nice.
And I think I've made him laugh a few times over the years.
Well, he said that once they're all done, wrapped up, he definitely wants to come on. And he won't go on like the list.
Right.
I'll get him in on a different day, on an open studio time, because certain guys like that, I don't put on the list. You know what I mean? Like the legends of New England.
Legends of New England,
know? I mean, couple of weeks ago, I did a show Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And by the Wednesday one, I didn't even want to do it, but it was Johnny Vegas and Sonny Goodspeed.
Yep, I've seen Johnny. I've seen Johnny at shows before.
Great guy too.
Great guy. And I was at it. I think it was a UFO show he did with Pat Dillon.
Yep. And, another great guy right there.
Pat Dillon. Pat Dillon's great. And I just introduced myself. I said, "Hi, my name is Ken Watson. I'm Kenny B. Dunn." And he said, "Oh, nice to meet you. Now get out of my way." So no, it was very cool like that. So,
yeah, that's great. So have you worked for Pat?
Just a couple of times.
Yeah.
I did shows. I did a show with Kyle Storm asked me to come in and help manage him.
Yep.
And it turned out to be his retirement match right after The Undertaker retired.
Dude, I'm surprised. I was there. He took his shoes. He didn't take his boots off and left him in the ring.
Everything right in the middle of the ring, his gloves.
Yep.
And I'm yelling at him. I'm like, "What are you doing? Come on, this is just a formality. It's something we'll get over. We'll move past it." And he's like, "No, I'm done. I'm done." I'm like,
oh. Pat was my very first guest.
Really?
Yeah. And he came up on a 45-minute notice because I thought we could have Skype, and Dick had said, producer Dick said it's not ready yet.
Yep.
So I called Pat and I'm like, I need a favor. And he's like, "What's up?" I said, "I'm going to, I got no guests for my show." He goes, "When do you need me?" I'm like, "In an hour." He's like, "I'm on my way."
Awesome.
That's, Pat, I mean, he's just that type of guy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into some fan questions.
Okay.
And then we're going to go through the promotions you worked for.
Okay.
As Willie Whistle, like my teeth, I whistle sometimes.
Yep. That's okay.
All right, this is kind of funny, and I definitely want to. I want the story from this. Johnny Corcoran, is that how you say it?
Cochran.
Yep. Do you know the difference between diesel and unleaded? Ken, what happened? What happened?
Okay. So I was driving my father used to drive a pickup truck.
Okay.
A catering truck, excuse me. And he took the cab off, and he would switch cabs every once in a while so he'd get a new engine. So he gave me the old cab, and he put a truck body on it.
Okay.
And I said, well, my buddy Rob, and John knows both of us, so he knows this story. My buddy Rob was moving up to this area to be near his girlfriend up in Nashua. So I drove all the way from Foxborough, drove all the way up here. We were looking at apartments, and I'm like, I'm not feeling the vibe. It's a great place. I like going to the Lakes region, went up to Saki and all that, going to Molten Borough and checking out the Molten Borough Devil and all that stuff. Fun spot. I said, I can't live up here.
Right.
So a long day, go to the gas station. Now, the last words my father said to me before I left for the day, he goes, "Hey, when you're up in New Hampshire, get the cheapest gas available."
Right.
So I pulled in the gas station. I'm almost on dead empty.
Diesel.
It was diesel.
Yep.
So now this is a full serve station.
Right.
So the guy comes up to me and I was like, "Yeah, can you fill it up?" Diesel. And he goes, "Diesel? Okay." He filled it up. And I think when I pulled out of the gas station, I rolled to just around the corner from Jordan's Furniture in Nashua, and the truck stalled out. And I called my father, who's in Foxborough, so he had to drive all the way to Nashua to come find me. And he goes, "It's now like 10 o'clock at night."
Yeah.
He's like, "What the hell?" "I don't know, Dad." I said, "I filled it up with gas," and I said, it just died." And he goes,
"And you just said gas. You didn't say
I didn't say gas.
Right.
So the next day, my mom, I got driven to work. I got a ride from a friend. I went to work. About 3/4 of the way into my shift, my father goes, "I got a phone call at work." He goes, "Ken, it's Dad. Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Did you put diesel fuel in the gas tank?" I was like, "No, I didn't. The guy at the station." He goes, "At a full serve gas station, he put full diesel." So yeah, it's a funny story, and now it's a big running gag.
Right.
So thanks, John.
Yeah, John, thanks for the question.
Love you too.
Ben Carchiri.
Kachiri?
Kachiri. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm really bad. Like,
we call him the
pronouncing
BC kid.
names. Okay.
BC kid.
Who is your favorite person you have managed?
Oh, geez, there's so many. That's probably the toughest question. Different. I've managed guys like Big Dog Wilson.
Yep. He's been a guest here too.
Managed. I briefly managed Brickhouse and Ash, and then they switched me out and they put in Johnny Idle.
Okay, I remember Johnny.
Who's out in the Chicopee area,
right,
western part of the state. Still a great guy, and I still talk to him every once in a while. It's great to see him. And Tex McCoy was one of my first guys that I managed.
I haven't heard that name in
and
a long time.
I used to brutalize him.
Did you really? Yeah.
Well, because I carry a pool stick.
Oh, okay.
And most of the times they come corked on the bottom. Well, there was one time it wasn't corked.
Right.
And I which I learned you don't do this anymore, is you bring the stick back like this.
Yeah.
And it hit him in the top of the forehead, and it scraped a gash up his forehead. And I'm like,
really?
I am so sorry. And so Tex, I'm sorry. I hope you forgive me after 30 years. It's been a long time. So, but
But Johnny Idle, what a great guy.
Johnny Idle.
Great guy.
El Pancho Ayala. I managed as a Southern heavyweight champion.
Oh, nice.
Southern New England champion for House of Bricks. And
who are you managing now?
Right now I am managing one of the young guns, Hotshot Deshaun.
Okay. Yep.
Diego. Great talent.
Right.
And we just had a number of battles with AJ Phoenix.
Wow.
Great matches.
Kid's so young.
These
very
kids,
talented.
These kids make you feel
like
they
in high
keep
school,
you,
right?
They keep you on your toes. That's why the hat's a little damaged. So, AJ, as you can see, a couple of the spots right here are just because of AJ. But
I'm definitely, I'm going to go right now and say he's in the top 10 of the younger guys that are coming around, that have been wrestling for a year or two. You know what I mean? He is very, very talented.
Yep.
And to know he's the same age as my daughter, it's like crazy.
Yeah. And he's also very smart. Very smart.
Oh, is he? Because I've never met him.
He's scholastically, he's a very smart kid.
Really?
And
I definitely want him on someday, though, for sure.
Yeah, you'll definitely find out a lot about him.
Right.
But it's good kids, and I love working with them, and they keep you on your toes. And I bring some of the old like comedy, like Bobby the Brain Heenan, like we'll do an interview, and I think the first interview I did with Hotshot, we were coming down the stairs, and Joe Ribello, journalism Joe Ribello, who was the announcer, came down, and he's like, hey, we've got Kenny B. Dunn with his new client,
right?
And we're coming down the stairs, and I'm giving like little background talk, and I'm like, so we're gonna get you on TVs and bit sheets and everything, and you're gonna be like New Kids on the Block. Do you remember?
Right.
And he's like, who's the New Kids on the Block? And I was like, never mind that. It's not important right now.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great time, and
that's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Great story. Thanks, Ben. Jerry Lane. You know Jerry? He says, who are you?
Jerry, yeah, good question. Jerry Lane. I don't know Jerry.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't.
Jerry's a great guy.
He must be a friend of yours, because I don't.
He is.
But Jerry, either that or he may have been a fan that I picked up as a friend on Facebook. But because like everybody that wants to, that I acknowledge in the fans, like I get them riled up during the show, but then afterwards it's like, hey, how you doing? Except the exception of like 2 women in the crowd who still hate me to this day, but whatever.
All right. Jerry, thanks for that question.
Yeah. I'm not Christopher Grand, if that's what you're wondering.
Right. How about, I think I got a question from Big Dog Wilson, Daniel Baker.
Oh, Big Dog.
How many power bombs did you take from Big Rick Fuller when you managed Big Dog? And how scary were those power bombs, too, when Rick got you up in the air?
He's as tall as I am, if not a little bit taller.
Yeah.
And
I think he's 6'8", to be honest with you.
And I know in the boots he is. And, but he powerbombed me, I'd probably say like 6 or 7 times. And I mean, I can take a bump. If I didn't take a bump, then I might as well get out of the business.
Yep.
And there was a large gap where I had that, but life goes on. And then I came back, and but I every once in a while I'd see Rick at a show. And matter of fact, he did the New England State Fair at the old Sullivan Stadium.
Okay.
And he was fighting. He was in a tag match. I think it was with Kevin Kelly.
Wow.
Against Demolition.
Really?
And And I was out there, and I just happened to be in the crowd, and I saw Rick, and I was like, "Hey, lumberjack!" And he goes, "Kenny," he goes, "Your parents have a pool, don't they?" So it was great.
He is a great guy.
He's a great guy.
I used to go to the MWF shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have like my daughter and my grandson, and he like if my daughter went up to him, he'd put her on a chair for a picture.
Yep.
Because if not, man, she's down here and he's way up there.
Oh yeah.
But what a great guy! His
Yeah.
wife, I don't know if you know his wife, but his wife is so nice too.
I probably met her like years ago. They might have just been dating when we.
Yeah, because I would set up my merchandise table, and like one day she was looking around. I could see she had his pictures.
Yep.
I moved some stuff right out of the way for her and said, "You can sit right here and do it." And I think he really appreciated that too.
Plus, it gets me on the end.
Right, and the next time I saw him, he thanked me for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
Very
love
cool.
Rick.
Very great guy.
All right, I got a couple questions from a couple friends of mine.
Okay.
Dan Bolia wants to know, what are your thoughts on chaotic and limitless wrestling? Both, honestly, great companies in my opinion.
I have very little interaction with either one. I have heard the names, but I have not experienced with Chaotic or Limitless. I think there was a time a while ago where Matt Storm may have worked with Chaotic. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Right.
I could be confusing it with another
I
organization.
think he did a while ago, like quite a while ago.
Yeah. And I'm sure I'll be corrected as soon as I get off.
Right. Well, just so you know, Limitless is the company that's up in Maine.
Oh, okay.
And Randy Carver Jr. runs it. He's a young kid. I mean, honestly, if he's older than 22, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
And he runs a great company. And he flies guys in too. Like it's a really good local promotion, but he brings people in.
Yeah.
It's unlike Chaotic, which I love Chaotic. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They might bring in one or two guys, you know, like they brought in Danny Moffin, Sean Donovan, the Center Slaughter.
Yep.
You know, they came up a few times. Actually, they're booked on Mike Verner from New York. He's probably been wrestling for almost 2 years now.
Okay.
But Limitless is just crazy.
Now, I have seen their ads, and here's the thing. If I do see an ad that I know of somebody personally that is in it, like I think Mike Montero might have done a show up there.
He's good.
He's
that
good.
kid,
And,
real good.
we worked with him. I worked with him in the past, and as I was managing Ayala, we managed against him, and we had a couple of good matches with him.
Nice.
What a talent! Because I know that on different shows, like you may work to the level of your opponent or wherever you are. So I mean, obviously we're older guys, so we work a little slower, and
especially when AJ Phoenix is like 18 years old.
That kid runs circles. I'm like, it's like watching the Roadrunner. It's
right,
like, and it's like gone. So, and I'm just like the Wile E. Coyote going, got to find a way to slow him down.
It's got to be hard too. Like I said,
it's
he got so much energy, that kid.
I think he ran around the ring twice and grabbed my hat, and I hadn't even noticed he was still running around the ring. He's like doing that. Come on, let's go.
Right.
It was great.
That's awesome. All right, a good friend of the show, Nathan Fuller. WWE or AEW?
I like bits and pieces of each one.
Yep.
I'm going to be Switzerland here.
Okay.
Because not that I'll ever get asked to work for any of them, but it's
you never know.
You never know. Never say never.
That's right.
But there are some things I like and some things I don't like
with both companies.
With both companies.
Yeah.
Like stuff like the Lana, Bobby Ashley, Rusev thing.
Not
I don't care for.
that.
Not a fan of it.
I think she's one of the worst out there, honestly. She thinks she's a horrible actress because that's basically all she's doing is.
Yeah.
And Lashley is a talented guy.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm sure she's
not
a wonderful
fan
person.
I changed the channel when she comes on. I like Rusev a lot.
I like Rusev, and he's that big character, like when Nikolai Volkov had turned baby after being with Money Incorporated, and he turned and the fans just loved him. But he was always that guy that you either hated him or you loved him.
Yeah.
Or you loved to hate him.
Right.
Which is the premise that I've always done. I think I've spent more time as a heel than anything else.
Nice. Well, they were saying, I just read today, I guess the first couple of weeks with the ratings, AEW was higher, but I guess
higher.
last week
was NXT's. Yeah. They topped them, I think, at around 950,000.
Wow. Did you see NXT Saturday night? The takeover show?
No, I did not. I was
unbelievable, Ken.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean,
I have the app, so I will be looking it up.
Right. I've watched all the AEW matches on television and stuff, and their little pay-per-views. But I'll tell you what, it was unbelievable. The War Games match, between Undisputed Era.
I heard
Wow.
with Kevin Owens jumping in on Tommaso Ciampa's team.
Yeah.
And
Ciampa, is a legend around here.
Oh yeah. And I never had the privilege of meeting him, but I have heard about stories.
Yeah.
And it was and there's so many stories that so many stories in this region.
Right.
This is like a hotbed of professional wrestling. It's like a farm system.
Yeah. I think it's honestly, I was watching an interview, a shoot interview not too long ago, and they were talking how, in like 2002 to 2005, the hottest place to be trained and wrestle was the tri-states, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, you had the Monster Factory and you had all those.
But I honestly believe right now, it's New England is in that same spot they were in.
Yep.
Great companies, fantastic wrestlers, and fans, that are passionate.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of like the local guys. That's what this show's all about.
Yes.
Showcasing the local talent.
Yep. And I support them every chance I get. If I see an ad, I click share and I send it up to Facebook, or if it's on Twitter, I'll send it out and seeing and St. Dick Lane's going to be in Maine. Oh, right. I'm clicking that one because he's a funny guy.
Yeah. We'll talk about Dick Lane after. Matt, last question, question, is from Maverick Wild.
Oh dear God.
And I don't understand this, so hopefully you do. You did say something about Black Dragon earlier, but he said Dizzy Straight or Red Dragon.
Okay. Now the real story.
All right.
After we had been doing, and we couldn't call ourselves the Double Dragons because it was a video game and it was under copyright, so it was the Black and Red Dragon. And about this time, my partner, Peter Laporte, Black Dragon, we wanted to mix things up.
Right.
So you get the sketches.
Yep.
And he was a little flamboyant, and we were thinking like, okay, he goes because he's a little more flamboyant, and we didn't mind playing it off. So So I said, well, what are we gonna do? And he goes, I was thinking, and he had like this yellow and orange and red like spandex thing, wearing a feather boa and with eye makeup. Right. It was like Goldust before Goldust. Right. And his name was Is He Straight? And so I was his brother.
Yeah.
And I wore purplish blue spandex tights and a tie-dye t-shirt, purple, blue, and pink. And my name was Dizzy. So you had Izzy and Dizzy Straight. So yes, the Red Dragon became Dizzy Straight. And hopefully there's not too many pictures out there. Thank God this was a time before the internet. So I know that there are people that say they have them. One of them is a radio personality down in Tampa, Florida, who I worked with, and he was a ring announcer up here, and a friend of Scott Taylor's, Scotty Too Hottie, as we all know him today. And so so Mav, I guess the answer is the Dizzy Dragon, or you can. But a lot of people who didn't know about the gap between Red Dragon to Kenny B. Dunn, there was, the come out wearing a workman's construction hat, listening and coming out. Our entrance music was YMCA, and the fans loved it.
Yep.
And we were tag team champions, I think, for like 2 months or a month.
Nice.
And lost them to PJ Walker and Garfield Quinn, and PJ Walker being now known as Just Incredible.
Yes.
So good friend of mine. I talk to him. Well, good friend. I say hi every once in a while when I see him. So but it's always nice to shoot the breeze.
All right. So when I talked to you before, like when we were talking about when you were going to come on and stuff, and when you first got here, I said I'd like to go through the promotions you worked for. So we're going to start off with: is this the first one too? UCW.
UCW was kind of like the 1A.
Okay.
The 1A. I started training with Yankee Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
John McAdams told me to go to Joe Eugenio's Yankee Pro Wrestling.
Who was training lots of guys.
Down there. And Redemption, Brickhouse Bakers, Scott Ashworth.
Redemption, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Juan the Party Man King. Bad Attitude Bobby McRae.
Okay.
Bobby. Oh, damn. It's going to kill me, too.
McBride?
No.
Okay.
Bobby Moran. Bad
Okay.
Attitude Bobby Moran.
That actually, to be honest with you, that's the guy, because I read an interview. Now, was he killed?
Yes.
Or was it killed or died? Was he killed,
He was
right?
killed.
Yeah.
His son is serving 3 consecutive life sentences
That's
for
right,
killing
yeah.
a mother, father, and
Wow.
daughter, and good friend of ours, and we miss him.
I
still
have
to
a
this
New
day.
Wave Wrestler magazine.
Yes. his
And
picture's
you
on
have
the
that?
back.
Yeah,
I
the
have that
nice
same
little
one.
interview. Was
Bret
it an
Hart,
interview?
Bret Hart was on the front, and
Yeah.
it was a remembrance.
Okay,
And
yeah.
It was an interview. Sandy Starr was a friend of one of the writers.
Yep.
And she used to come to the shows, and she did. She talked with Juan King and Sandy and Black Dragon. I'm not sure if he had made the flip to Izzy at that point, but
Right. Sad though, man.
yeah.
Because I honestly, I didn't even know him or
Yeah.
even remember.
Great
But when
guy.
I read the article, I was blown away by
Yeah.
it. Like, wow. And so I started asking friends of mine,
Yeah.
acquaintances, because I'm not in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys were saying how cool he was.
He was. He was a genuine sweetheart. Every time you see him, and even when he injured you, I mean, he used to use me all the time as like a tackling dummy.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Dragon, come here. I want to try something. Or Kenny, get in the ring, and we'd try this. And he wanted to do Razor Ramon's cross.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, he drop you down.
Yep.
Well, he's a lot shorter than me, and
Right.
my head got jammed into the ring.
Ah.
So I got the lights knocked out of me, and I was like
Really?
sitting there, and he was like, "Oh my God, Kenny, I'm so sorry." But
Right.
you know, sweetheart of a guy, and I was like, "So," but
All right.
we miss him.
So what like when you were in UCW, who else like was around at that time?
Scott King,
Yep.
Sky King now, Alexander Worthington III. I guess he goes by the name.
But
with
yeah,
Dr.
that's
Heresy.
the same guy.
And Scott Taylor and Steve Ramsey were the
Nice.
Thunderbolts. And
Ramsey's
that was
good too.
He's great.
Yeah.
And I actually got in contact with him. I guess he's out in Arizona.
Oh, really?
And he was like, "I'm sorry, who are you?" And I said, "Yeah, I had a few matches with you in New Bedford." And he goes, I said, "I was the Red Dragon." I said, "I look like a giant Twizzler." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you." So it was really a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Now they just ran Nashua, or did they run like Hudson, or was it basically just Nashua?
We were only there for like 2 shows.
Oh, really? That's yeah.
And then I guess they went other. There was a bunch of other guys that they brought up there, like
Right.
Redemption, and all of us, I think, came up in a van.
Wow.
From they picked me up in Foxborough, and they all came from New Bedford, and then dropped me off on the way home. So it was pretty cool.
Nice. All right. And you worked for Yankee Pro also,
Yep.
and your tie into that was
Yep.
Joe Eugenio.
John, yep.
Who besides Big Dog Wilson?
Yep.
Who else did you work with when you were working in that company?
Well, let's see. When I was first wrestling, and we were the Dragons.
Right.
Brutal Bob Evans, who was the peacekeeper at that time,
Good guy.
and Lizard Man, Lethal Paul Lazan, was
Paul
his
Lazan, I
tag
haven't
was
heard
his
that
tag
name
team partner.
forever.
Was his tag team partner, and we were married to them for a few months.
Yeah.
Almost a year, and we had some good matches. And like I said, Pete wound up bloodying me more than he'd bloody them. So we had one match, and you know, I hit the spot, and Bob came down on me and turned it around and went for the pin.
Yep.
Well, Pete came in, went to give him a double axe handle in the head. Bob moved and right across the bridge of my nose. And
Wow.
you ever seen the Beverly Hillbillies when he says, "And up from the ground comes a bubbling crew"?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what the blood looked like coming through my mask.
Really? That
And
bad, huh?
you get that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And I think I got up. You know, Pete got thrown out of the ring. I threw Bob out of the ring.
Yep.
And then I climbed to the top rope and jumped down on the floor, like with an elbow.
Right.
And it was, you could just see the blood dripping from the mask.
Right.
And then we took it home, and it was all done, and they won the match, and the fans went home happy. And some little kid was like, "Haha, you guys lost." And my hand was all clean, and I went, "Ah!" And he's like, "Ah!" He lost his mind.
So when you did wrestle, did you
Yes.
like singles or tags better? I'll be honest with you, I love tag. Like
Tags.
if I could only pick like a certain
Yeah.
type of match, it would be a tag team. So you like the tags too?
I like the tags,
Yeah.
because there's a lot more you can work with.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
was still so green, so I was not knowing the ring psychology and
Right.
all that. So, but you know, you get to work with it and draw people in. And
Yep.
I had one of probably my second singles match, and it was as a Red Dragon, was against a guy who went by the name of Scorpion. the Black Scorpion.
Okay.
His name was Brian Brieger. He was one of those guys that you'd see on Saturday mornings.
Right.
And he was the guy who got his boots lit up by Papa Shango.
Oh, really?
Yes. He was from this area, and that was in
Right.
Providence, I believe.
Have you ever done any extra work for WWE?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because they were just here Monday, and
Yeah.
a lot of guys were out back there.
Yeah, Don Vega.
Yeah.
I managed him back in the
Such
day.
a good guy,
I
Don
managed him
Vega.
when I started.
Oh, okay.
I was one of the guys I managed for a little while, and his father, God rest his soul, he was a great guy, and he was always there, and I was, true gentleman.
I don't know if you had word got back to you, but there was a guy that ran a show in Lowell. I don't know, maybe like 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Don was on the show, and he had a heart attack, man. They had to take him out.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and then I remember, with the Facebook, and I remember like a few days after, and I didn't have I'm not friends with Don Vega.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his.
Right.
But, I asked him how he was doing, and he said he was doing good and all that. He's like, thanks for asking. I'm like, well, I was seriously concerned, man.
Yeah, I was still living in probably Virginia, if not Florida at the time.
Right.
And so I lost track for a little while with the National Guard and being in the Army and all that. So, and then coming back and I just dived headfirst right back in.
Right. And he's such a great worker, too.
Yes.
Really phenomenal. I love this tag team when we was with Jose Perez. What was that called? The Wreaking Havoc.
Wreaking Havoc.
Yeah, that was a really, really good tag team.
Yep.
I'd love to
Jose is great.
but someday do a special on New England tag teams because there's been some real good ones.
Real good ones.
All right, let's move over to when Yankee Pro ended up changing its name.
Yes.
To Top Rope Promotions.
Well, it actually went from Yankee Pro to New England Championship Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
And then to Top Rope when we were with it.
Is that New England Pro Wrestling? Because New England Championship Wrestling is Sheldon's company. But they did work for Sheldon.
I think they did. I think when Joe changed the name, and then eventually, I'm not sure if he dissolved it or what happened.
Right.
But eventually, I think it was bought out. And
Gotcha.
I know my friend Barbara would know that.
Right.
Because she still keeps her finger on the pulse.
Right. I would definitely say they were definitely top 10 all-time great, best New England tag teams. I don't know who would be first or whatever, but I know they're top 10.
Yep.
In my opinion, at least.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Is there any, you got any funny stories from Top Rope or anything like that before we move on?
Let's see. We did a show in Milford, Massachusetts at Pheno Field, 4th of July. And it was hot. And Greg the Hammer Valentine was on the card.
Oh, wow.
And it was, and these guys had to go from Milford past Foxborough.
Right.
And my parents had a pool, and I called my parents, on that StarTAC Motorola phone. And
you had one like Big Paulie used to. Paulie Dangerously had one.
And I called my house, and I said, Mom, look, the guys are all dying here. It's 102 in the shade. I said, can we use the pool? And she's like, yeah, sure. And she made a big vat of spaghetti with some sauce she threw together. And so I said to my buddy Juan, I said, look, I know he's probably busy, but if he wants to come by, he can relax in the air conditioning or in the pool or whatever he wants to do. Let Greg know. He's more than welcome. Give him the address.
Nice.
So I go home, and I don't think anything about it. All of a sudden, all the guys are coming in. My father's looking at the size of some of these guys, and we had cousin Seth McCoy, who's a big boy.
Right.
And, a lot of guys that, regular patio furniture would not hold. So my father actually had a wooden barrel in the back, and he took a chainsaw to it, cut it in half, and put a pillow on it so the guys could sit down.
Nice.
And then the guys...
Quite handy, your dad there.
Oh, yeah, very good. And my father, though, almost cried when he saw one of the guys going into the pool, and he was standing on the diving board, and the board was bending like this. He's like, my board's going to break. I was like, Dad, it's going to be fine. And next thing I know, I turn around, and I see a white Lincoln Town Car pulling up in the driveway. And I don't think there's anybody from New Bedford. So I look out, and here comes Greg the Hammer Valentine walking in the house. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
so definitely. I walk, and he comes in, and he's like, excuse me, can I use your phone? Because I have to call the office to change my flight. And I was like, yeah, sure.
Right.
Well, my aunt had not heard the conversation, and she sees this big blonde guy going to use the phone, and she goes, what's he doing? And I'm like, leave him alone. Leave him alone, Auntie. She's like, well, he's just using a phone. I said, it's like Barbara Streisand at your house. Leave him alone.
Right.
So, and he was very nice and very, very, very gracious. And everybody ate and had a couple of beers, and everybody was using the pool, and everybody loved it, and it was a good time.
It's funny because, like, you said earlier, your mom didn't like wrestling, but she had no problem letting them come over and cooking for them. That's pretty awesome.
She didn't mind the parties and stuff. So.
Nice.
Here's the mom and dad.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So now we're going to play the name game. We got a little over 17 minutes.
Okay.
How about we start with, and tell me if I'm not pronouncing the kid's name or saying it right.
Yep.
Game Changer Alex Rated?
Yes.
All right. Tell us a little bit about Alex. I'm not familiar with him at all.
Great talent.
Yep.
We were working matches when Hot Shot Deshaun was the Southern New England champion.
Okay.
They had a great ladder match in Orleans, Massachusetts last year.
Nice.
In April of last year, it was to decide the vacant Southern New England champion. I was doing commentary.
Yep.
And they went back and forth, and I thought they killed each other falling off the ladder.
Really?
It's a suplex from the top of the ladder to the floor.
Wow.
And they took the time getting up and finding their bearings, and Hotshot and Alex were trading blows, and Hotshot went off the ropes, and he did a handstand, almost a springboard. He was going to come back into a springboard, but as he gets into the handstand, Alex drop kicks him in the chest.
Oh.
And so he falls out of the ring.
Yeah.
And he stumbles out. I run out with a foreign object. Alex is climbing the ladder.
Oh.
Here you go. Here you go. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you all right? Throw this in there, and we're getting up there, and he climbs up and he nails him, and all the fans. And I go back to my spot at the commentating table, and Alex Lendell is going. Jordan is going. What did you do? I did nothing. I was making sure he was okay. He looked like he died. I thought he killed himself. So it was just a great experience, and it was like those moments when you get the chill and you're like,
oh yeah, wow, yep.
And when you hear a great song or you see a great scene in a movie or something like that, and you're like, wow, that was a beautiful girl, and we've all done that a few times. Right?
Yeah.
So, but it was great, and that's where it's those moments that make you feel you're glad to be part of it, because it's not the same old thing, and it brings people out of their seats, and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a match, and what a great Southern New England champion.
Yep.
And then I jumped up, and I'm like, I'm going to go help him celebrate. And I brought him backstage and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Now, so Jordan does the commentary too?
Yes. Occasionally he does.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
Nice. Because I know, he's always posting about, House of Bricks and stuff. So I'm definitely trying to get down for the November 30th show.
Yep.
Me and Sonny Goodspeed. Hopefully Sonny can come with me, but I really want to go and support Brick House,
Yeah, one of two shows final.
Yeah, there's going to be one in December too.
In December.
And then I know it's November 30th. I want to say it was December 13th, but do they usually run on Friday nights?
Not really. They try and do it on Saturdays. He did once in a while, but I think he's trying.
It could be the 14th then.
Saturdays are much easier.
So if it is the 14th, I definitely have to make November 30th because I'll be at APW doing concessions on December 14th.
Yep.
All right. How about CIA? Greedy
Bones.
Greedy Bone and Frank Bones.
And Frank Bones.
Okay.
Great team. A lot of people look at them and they're very vocal, very animated.
Yep.
And I love that. And they're they're aerial experts.
Yep.
I love watching them work.
Nice.
I worked with a tag team last year, Pumpalicious, Eddie Vegas and Johnny Mata, and we had a great run against CIA.
Right.
Going back and forth, and we learned a lot about ring psychology.
Right.
Working with guys and hey, you're two bigger guys, but you're like a Heart Foundation kind of team. They're like more like a Rockers, but smaller, and but they're very aerialistic. And I said, you guys have this ability to do this. I said, you got to use that to your ability.
Right.
So we had a great run with them, and I still see Frank and Greedy. They'll be at the show on the 30th, and they were actually going to have a great match. They are working against the Middlesex Express.
Oh, that's a good
which
tag
is
team.
it's going to be a great match.
Oh, what a tag team! Greed.
Yeah.
How you say Greed? Just
Greedy.
Greedy.
Greedy Bones.
He actually, his girlfriend is my sister-in-law's cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So do you know Robert? Have you met his girlfriend?
No.
Yeah. Great girl. I love her. She's awesome.
I haven't met her, but I'd like to.
Yeah. All right. How about He just came out of retirement. Dr. Heresy.
Dr. Heresy. I met him at the last show for House of Bricks. It was like being at the home.
Yeah.
It was like all the old guys got back together. And I even said that to a few of them. But, Scott King came out and managed Dr. Heresy. And I had heard the name, but I had never seen his work before.
Right.
And he worked against, I think it was Shady Shay.
Oh, okay.
And the heavy hitter Shady Shay.
Yep.
And it was a good match.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And they use a lot of the heel, psychology of getting out of the ring and antagonizing the fans and then doing all that. It's just fun for everybody to get involved, and it makes them known,
right?
To the fans.
Nice. So you brought him up, Shay Cash.
Shay Cash, great kid.
Yeah.
Talented. Very talented. Talented big man.
Yes.
Which is very rare.
Yep.
Occasionally you get big guys in there that they're big, but they can't move.
Right.
And so they're just a power move.
Yep.
And that's no slight on anybody.
Right.
Some of them are just new. They just need to work on it.
Absolutely.
So.
How about he's really killing it right now in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Retro Anthony Green. Do you know Anthony at all?
I've met Anthony a couple of times.
Okay.
He just did, I think he did a show, I was away with the Guard, and he did a return show with House of Bricks.
Oh, nice.
And
so talented, that kid. He
very
really
talented
is.
Kid. And I've seen him at a couple of other shows around the region. The sky's the limit.
Absolutely. I think if she didn't already wrestle for House of Bricks, I think she's coming up to wrestle this time. Former guest on the show, Delilah Hayden. Delilah?
I've met her a few times.
Very nice girl.
I know every time I see her and Derek Conway.
Yep, that's another guy. I was going to bring him up, but now you just did. That's perfect.
Yeah, they're great. I love watching her work. She's very, very animated out there in the ring, and
sweetheart of a person. Man. And Derek's a great guy too.
Yeah, Derek's good.
Derek's a really good guy.
I don't know him very personally, but I've seen, I've interacted with them at the shows and given, the hey, how are you? Give him a big hug, and it's like I feel good for an old guy. I feel like a pervert, but whatever.
But no, I don't know him very well either. But I have talked with him here and then. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
How about Todd Graham?
Todd Graham. No,
Derek Simonetti.
Derek, I've seen some of his stuff, but I haven't worked with them.
Because he runs Proving Ground.
Proving Ground. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I definitely know you know this guy, JB Tickle.
Oh, JV. Love working with JV.
Yeah.
It's always interesting. He's like the alcoholic Popeye.
Nah.
Because he's got that little flask. The arms bulge out, and he's like, so
that's all right.
We had a thing going when I was managing El Pancho Ayala for the Southern New England Championship, and I had actually gone away. I was in Kuwait in 2017.
Right.
And I came back right before the show.
Yep.
And they said, well, we want to have you come back with Ayala. I said, okay. So I came back, and I showed up about 3/4 into the match, and I grabbed the Southern New England belt, and I was like, no, I was just, use my tie. I'll just clean it off for you. And he goes, oh, looks like somebody's granddaddy came back. And I said, no, I was just cleaning this for you. See, see him just cleaning it off. So. And JV's great. Love working with him. And him and Donnie Rotten were going to be working as a tag team.
That was the next name.
Oh,
Donnie Rotten.
Donnie Rotten, I love.
He looks like he just walked off the stage with Slaughter. I told him that. I went to Beyond a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I actually went last week too. And he had saw that I was going. He lives in Worcester.
Yep.
So we had never met. Yeah. So he came and he even told me, he goes,
Donnie is a riot.
Yeah, he said to me that I was, glad you're here. It's the reason why I came to introduce myself. And that's when I said to him, I'm like, dude, you look like you walked off the stage with Slaughter.
But you know what? He'll surprise you when he gets in a ring.
Oh, he's pretty damn good.
He's pretty damn good.
He really is.
And fans just love him. I prefer him as a heel, but whatever.
Yeah.
And things change. And he got out there, and he does like, spinning heel kicks.
Dives
and
at people
dives
up the top
people
rope.
on top rope.
Mean,
I'm like, this is a guy that should be like getting ready to move out. He doesn't care. He throws all caution to the wind, and he's like, okay, open and kill somebody. So
well, he told me too. He started late in the business.
Yeah, he did.
He was in his 30s, I think, when he did. But really, really great guy. And like I said, I love to tease him that he looks like he's just on any 80s rock band.
Right now, he could have been a roadie for any of them. But he gets out there, and it's
a really great guy. How about Scott Ashworth.
Oh,
1/3 of Chunky but Funky.
Or as I like
I've
to
never
call him,
met Scott.
oh my God, it's so funny every time I work with Scott.
Yeah.
He's been doing a couple of shows with Judge Logan Chambers.
Oh, yeah.
And they ran this gimmick, and it was basically a purple nurple fest.
Yeah.
And what was supposed to be a 10-minute match turned into like a 45-minute match.
Wow.
And if you look on one of the recent Turnbuckle TVs, they took from one show and from the other, Sweet Scott Ashworth, and finally I at one point I was on the table and I said, I'm going to run up.
Yeah.
And I said, this is an outrage. And I'm using all the courtroom metaphors.
Yep.
And I said, this is a travesty of justice. This man is a true professional, and this is a mockery.
Oh.
And so all of a sudden I'm standing there with the mic, and he gives me a purple nurple, and I drop the mic, and I'm like,
right.
And the fans are loving it. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I do know, like watching him, because I've watched him many times.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Oh, yeah. And lovingly, I refer to him as Sweet and Sour Scott Ashworth.
Right. I want to ask you this question. It's not like an name game, but like my opinion on like a wrestling show.
Yes.
It's just one show. I think they should have, like the main event, obviously.
Yep.
But then you have like the high flyers.
Yeah.
There may be two mat wrestlers that just don't go to the top rope.
Yeah.
And a women's match.
Yep.
And a comedy match.
Have a comedy match. Yeah.
Yeah. I really do think every show should at least have a comedy match.
Yes. You have to keep the fans. It's not all pound them, grind them kind of action. There's got to be some levity in there.
Right.
And we've had many shows. I've been involved in many shows where, Ayala he used an Eddie Guerrero gimmick.
Okay.
Where I actually had to, and it was one of the funniest moments I've ever done. There was a packed house at a gymnastics academy in New Bedford, and they said, we got to do this. And he goes, well, I want to do the Eddie Guerrero chair shot.
Yep.
But, he'll smack it on the ground and then toss the chair.
Yes.
And he was working with Sully Banger.
Oh, okay.
So, and we got out there, and I get out there, and the place was packed.
Right.
I couldn't find a chair.
Really?
And I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I saw a little girl sitting in a chair, so cute, so innocent. I said, hey, kid, how would you like to make a couple of bucks? She's like, no. I pulled $5 out of my pocket. I'm like, she goes, yeah. So I crumpled it up.
Yeah.
Threw it off to the side. She went after it, and I grabbed her chair.
Very smart. Very smart.
The fans blew up laughing at this. It was
all right. How about we go with Maverick Wild?
Maverick Wild, member of the Stud Club back in the day, with now known as Journalism Joe Ribello.
Right.
Joe Ribello was his manager.
Okay.
And he was with Steve Ramsey and Crazy Kurt Roberts as the Stud Club. And Maverick Wild had many a battle with, back at the time, Scott Taylor. Rocket Scott Taylor, Scotty Too Hottie.
Another great guy, right?
And it was always lively in the back whenever they came to town. And it was always a lot of fun.
Nice. How about a guy that used to scare the crap out of me, honestly, because he looked so mean? Evan Six.
Evan Six is actually a surprisingly funny guy.
Yeah, no, he was here. He is very funny.
But when he gets out to the ring, he will scare the living bejesus out of you.
No doubt.
I managed him and Kyle Storm in Kyle Storm's retirement match.
Yes.
In Malden with UFO. And that was a great moment for me to be out there. I was honored to be a part of that retirement match. And it was the first time I had worked with Evan. So we were sitting in the back, and we were talking with a bunch of guys, and it was like Slick Wagner Brown.
I love
Slick and I talked like Scarface movies for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was great. And then it was like, oops, we got a match. We got to go.
Now, he's a great guy. My youngest daughter, that's her favorite wrestler, is Slick Wagner Brown. He's one of mine, too.
I would love to manage him.
Right.
That would be great.
One of my favorite wrestlers from around here is a Ring of Honor contracted wrestler right now. Guy by the name of Brian Malonis.
The Brawler.
Yep. Yeah. Any interactions with Brian?
Just introductions. Never really worked with him, but very nice guy. I walked up to him and said, hi, my name is Kenny. And he was very cordial and, shook my hand. And it was very nice.
Yeah, he is a great guy. How about Brian Fury?
Brian Fury, never worked with.
Okay. Let's see. How about Michael Foster?
Mike Foster, the Thunder from Down Under.
Yep.
Great guy. He trained with me back in the day.
Okay.
And he's still wrestling and still going at it to this day. And he has Australian strap matches. He has tables and chair matches. I don't know where he finds the energy. I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy.
All right.
Love him to death.
Let's see. How about Nakoma?
Nakoma Tala.
Yeah.
Nakoma Tala.
She's pretty impressive. The
pretty
look
impressive
alone.
wrestler. The look alone and the intensity when she gets out there. And she had a match one time against the Right Stuff, Stephen Lust.
Oh, really?
The Middlesex Express. It was an open chud challenge. And it was brilliant. She came out and they wrestled, and it worked. It just worked. And I mean, I don't know before House of Bricks what her pedigree was in wrestling, but she's very good.
Nice. How about what they call the suplex queen?
Suplex sweetheart.
Sweetheart. I saw her. Another talented young lady.
Very talented young lady.
Yep.
Got her head together. She's always working.
Nice.
Working to perfect her craft, and she's very good. And I've seen her in a lot of stuff. I promote a lot of stuff that she puts out there. And,
right.
So I always root for the boys and girls.
Yep.
Try and give them a leg up. If one person catches their eye and said, "Oh wow, they look pretty good," I go check them out.
Nice. How about Johnny Fabulous?
John Fabulous.
John Cena Senior. Yep.
That was the first match I came back when I started with Brick.
Okay.
He said to me, I was coming up from Virginia for Easter, and he said, "You're going to be working with your old tag team, the Storm Brothers, against the Baker Boys." I said, "Oh, okay."
Right.
And John Cena Sr. was the commissioner of House of Bricks, and I got to meet with him, and they did he does the attitude adjustment thing. So at the end where they throw me up, and he throws me up there, and I actually had to catch the top rope because I was so tall and heavy.
Right.
He almost lost his balance. And
wow.
He was, backstage. He was like, "Hey, nice grab there." He
saved
both our asses, so it was pretty good.
Nice. What a great guy, though.
Great guy.
Honestly, really nice guy.
A lot of great guys and girls in this region.
How about Alex Payne?
Alex Payne.
Yes.
An old timer like me. He got into the ring a couple of months ago with Sweet Scott Ashworth.
Nice.
And it was great seeing him. And I worked with him back in the day, and I think he worked with Tex McCoy a few times, and it was always a lot of fun.
Nice. You want to plug? Get 20 seconds left. You want to plug the show coming up?
November 30th, Fairhaven, VFW. I believe it's 281 Appleton Street in Fairhaven, and it's going to be a great time.
House of Bricks.
Final fight.
Only 2 more shows left.
2 more shows.
Ken, we'll do this again another time, all right?
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, thanks for watching. Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.